Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to talk about storing and managing your data sets. In this regard, I'll also tell you about a valuable resource you can use to access data. So let's start with that. So remember, what I tell you is based on the requirements in my university. So do find out the requirements in your university, which may be a bit different from what I know or what I tell you, but the basics remain the same. So it's just about you finding out the requirements in your university. So I'm going to talk about managing and storing data. So once you collect data for your research, depending on your university, there are certain requirements for managing it, or rather storing it securely. So all this will be mentioned in your ethics application. So you have to apply for ethics before you collect data. This is the case in Australia at least, and in most of the countries. So your ethics application will tell you how long you have to store the data for. Sometimes it's 5 years or sometimes 10 years, and how you secure it or how you store it securely. So there are different ways to do it. So you have to just make sure that the data set is kept for any kind of further reference, or securely in a way that people who are not the interested parties should not be able to access your data without your or the university's permission. Sometimes the data that you collect is very sensitive, and it should not be easily accessible to non-authorized people. It should only be accessible to authorized people. It could be part of a confidential research project, such as there's a lot of research that goes on in defense or in human testing, or similar areas which may be very sensitive, but you need to keep it securely. So the different ways people do it is, sometimes the university provides a OneDrive, which is like a network drive only accessed by people who are working in a project or in the university. They are the authorized people. Some people, of course, secure the data in a hard disk, but remember that hard disk is your hard disk. It can be broken, it can be stolen, or you may lose the data as well. So if you need to secure it, you need to secure it on a cloud-based drive, ideally. So cloud-based drives, you can retrieve it if required, but then those cloud-based drives should be securely, or rather should be secure. Unauthorized people should not be access it, and such cloud-based drives are normally provided by university in some form or the other. Some researchers buy their own cloud-based drive and secure it as well. That is fine, but there are some universities which object to it, especially if the data was collected in the university using participants from the university, or if it's a confidential project. Some universities will object to you having your own private cloud-based security. So do find out what kind of security or OneDrives or some kind of a cloud-based drive that the university provides in your university, and then you can keep it secured there. The other way is, these days you have research data portals. So research data portals is it's, although it's cloud-based, it's slightly different. I'll tell you how it is different. Is that in research data portals, you can actually go in there and provide details of your project. And sometimes if your data is not very it's not very sensitive or confidential, you can straight away upload the data there, or you can provide a link, a hyperlink or a URL to where people can access the data, and that access could be made, it can be made you can add security to that access, so only authorized people can click on that link or access the data using the URL. The advantage with research data portals is, and this is part of many university systems, is that not only you can upload your data and provide people access to your data if you want to, but you can also access data of other projects. So many researchers, what they do is they upload the details of their project there, including the publications and details, and methodology details as well. I would have showed you the research data portal that is used in my university, but for confidentiality and privacy reasons I cannot show you, because the only thing I could have shown you was the research data the portal where it is located, but if I had to show you an example, I would have to access research data of researchers. I don't have their permission to do so, so that's why I could not show you, and it's a private university network which I cannot share with you, unfortunately. But to find out, in your university you will have some kind of a research data portal where you can go in, upload details of your project, so provide keywords, the methodology, the list of publications, the research data set, sometimes in PDF, sometimes in Excel or Word format, or sometimes just a URL or a hyperlink which people can then use or click on it, and which will take them to a secured location and allow them to access data. The advantage of this is, of course, firstly, you are securing your own data, keeping it secured in a location. The disadvantage is that sometimes these data cannot be destroyed. So if your ethics application requires you to destroy this data after 5 or 10 years, once it goes into a data portal, it may be there. Unless you specifically request your data portal to or university to destroy it, sometimes you cannot destroy it. So do find out the requirements in your university. Another advantage is that you can access data of all the other projects which are there as well. So a lot of researchers will upload it, and with their permission they will publish it. So they will publish their projects, they will publish their data, they will publish the publications as well. So that way you can just go in there. There are certain parameters like geographical parameters or topics or areas. You can just type in the keywords and you will find all the researchers who are working in those key areas and their data sets and their publications and their methodology. All that is uploaded there, and you can access it provided they have given permission to do so. So that is another advantage, because what happens is this helps in the networking. So if you find out people in the university who are working in similar areas, they may not be in your departments but across departments, across universities, I mean same university but across departments, then you can contact those people. The contact details are there. Sometimes some researchers will not provide the data directly, but they will have their contact details there, so you can contact them and ask them for the data, and they might provide you with the data, or they work with you, and you can have joint publications and joint research projects. You can become part of the projects if they find that you have value or you can add value to their projects. So guys, do find out in your university what is the system. You need to keep your data secured and store it as well for the at least 5 to 10 years. Sometimes it's 5 years for thesis, sometimes it's 10 years, depending on the research projects. They differ. I'm not saying 5 or 10 is the period. Sometimes it will be 2 years, 3 years. So find out what is the requirement, but you need to have your data secured and be able to easily accessible. It should not be stolen. Sometimes if they find that your data can be stolen easily, depending on the field of work, you can get in trouble because these are confidentiality reasons. So guys, please let me know what is the system on your universities, and if there is something that you want to add to it, please write it in the comment section, because the whole idea of making these videos is that we can learn from each other about the different systems which are there regarding research and managing research projects. Thank you for watching today's video.